All right. Hello and welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. Let us know that you can see us and hear us, and we will get started with the show. We've got a lot of people in the chat tonight.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So the first one, we're going to go ahead and throw this up here. Flat Squatch says, look what y'all created here. Do you realize how many Hellbenders are out here? Probably not as many as OnlyFans, but still respectable without having to take your clothes off or mukbang. Yeah, well.
There's a bunch of people out there right now Googling what mukbang is. So anyway, all right.
We're just trying to afford those king crab legs for those mukbangs, you know.
All right, audio good, video good.
Yeah, we're good to go.
All right.
All right, guys. Welcome to the show. I'm Jessi. This is Joe. We are, as you can see below, minor regional YouTube Dogman celebrities. So please step away from the limousine. And then after the show, David Paulides and I are going to go meet at the Polo Club.
That joke never gets old. So. Joke never gets old.
What did I say the other day? Who else was I going to go meet for?
I don't know. You're meeting somebody at the yacht club the other day.
Somebody at the yacht club. Some Ben Hansen or something.
All right. Let's get it.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, guys. We had a pretty wild week over the past week. We went to the Uwharrie, and that was an interesting experience.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get into that tonight. And we're also going to discuss the video that we released on Sunday on the channel that we recorded back in February at the LBL. So we're going to get into that. So if you guys have any comments, questions, anything about those two topics, that's what we're going to attack first and foremost. And then we'll get into whatever you guys want to talk about and open forum as usual with you, the Hellbenders. So it is so great to see you guys all here in the chat. God, we do have quite a motley crew, don't we?
Your intro keeps getting fancier and fancier.
I was like, oh, let's make it really interesting. Let's make it cool. So I'll probably be tweaking things as we go on. I do return to work next week. Yeah. So my summer is over. My summer of hellbending is over. No, but I'm going to try to keep up this much momentum for the channel as I had before, because I have kind of a new lease on life when it comes to this channel. I'm really, really excited about all the stuff we have planned. And I love creating all the cool stuff for this channel. And I love that you guys love what I do. So I'm going to keep releasing videos every Sunday at noon. We're going to keep doing our live stream every Monday at 7:30 p.m.
We ain't doing live streams from the field no more.
We are not doing live streams from the field, but we do have a plan in the future that means that the live streams from the field might not totally go away. But for the time being, we're going to do no live streams from the field because of a safety issue for us.
Yeah, and this goes for YouTube comments as well. If you recognize where we're at, that's all well and good. But if we're not saying where we're at for safety reasons, do us a solid and make us not have to like block you out of the comments because you're saying where we're at. How do I phrase this delicately? We get some strange like messages and emails sometimes.
Yeah, wasn't it just 2 weeks ago we had to have this discussion about
somebody wanting to chop us up into little pieces.
Yes.
And now there are people going, oh, I know exactly where you are. You're this. The chances of something happening are pretty small, but they ain't zero. Okay. And we're already running enough risk as it is doing it right now. And it's just freaking annoying.
Yeah. So try not to dox us.
And it ain't nobody here right now because as that happens, we just block them. But we had a lot of new people join us over this past week. Please, if you by some chance recognize, I know everybody wants to chime in and display their own knowledge of what's going on. But if you can just kind of chill on that, maybe message us and go, hey, I know where you guys are. There's some weird stuff there. Mm-hmm. We haven't even really had that. We've had just basically people just going, I know where they're at, in like a very scoffing and dismissive way. But again, we got a chick is like our main person here, and she gets some weird messages on a daily basis. And we had a guy that wanted to kill us a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So please just kind of
try not to dox us, please.
Please don't dox us.
Because if I'm dead and chopped up and in somebody's trunk somewhere, I can't make any more videos, guys. Just think about that. So let's try to avoid that scenario for me. I'd appreciate that. And Joe,
takeaway for the night: keep Jessi from getting chopped up and put in a trunk.
And also, Joe would starve to death because I wouldn't be here to make him dinner. So let's just
think of how that would impact, how Jessi's brutal murder would impact me
and his feelings
and my feelings. So
Oh, all right.
Anyway.
Lady Wolf says, stop blowing up their spot. Silence is golden.
So
Yeah.
anyway, we went to the Uwharrie. Sheldon and Don, we can watch reruns, Jess.
Oh, thanks.
So we went to the Uwharrie to check it out. The Uwharrie. What do you want to say about the Uwharrie? The Uwharrie was not what we expected.
No, not at all. Okay. So, the only knowledge we had about the Uwharrie before we went there was basically just hearsay, what we had heard from people who have been researching there and talk about it, or encounters that people have had. I know that Jeremiah Byron had a lady that lives on some property that is adjacent to the Uwharrie, and she was hearing some strange sounds in the woods by her house, and it was freaking her out. Other than that, it was people who had researched there before, so we really didn't know what to expect. It turns out that a lot of the researchers that are researching in that area are very territorial.
Very aggressive.
Aggressively territorial.
I had people messaging me going, watch out for so-and-so. If he finds out that you've left equipment there, he will tear it up. And I'm going, are you kidding me right now? It's a very small national forest. It's like 50,000 acres, right? Now, there's a lot of private land around there, and it's all posted. Like we mentioned on one of the live streams, I've never seen an area that has more no trespassing signs up, like ever. And I think a lot of it's because of so much off-roading that goes on there, and people don't want off-roaders getting onto their property, tearing it up. So, but yeah, it was weird, but it was weird. There's so much noise there. You know what I'm saying? We heard some stuff during that one live stream that we weren't sure about. And we get a phone call. Anyway, we heard some stuff during a live stream that we weren't sure about. And we could never make out what it was, but there's so much off-roading that goes on there that we couldn't dismiss that. So we heard some weird stuff, but we're still going, maybe it's like an ATV echoing or something like that. So take over. I'll be right back. So.
Oh, yeah, no problem. So we were hearing all kinds of stuff. We weren't quite sure what it was. But that's the problem with the Uwharrie is there is so much, how do you say, noise pollution that especially during the summer, there is so much noise pollution when it comes to people in the area because that is such a big off-roading and overlanding place. I know that a lot of people that several people who watch our channel and commented on photos and videos for when we were in the Uwharrie, they said, oh, I go there and overland. A lot of people go there and overland, like a lot. They have tons of gravel roads that snake in and out of the park. And then they have dedicated off-road trails. So people take their Jeep out there. They take their 4x4s out there, their side-by-sides. I don't know all the terminology, but we saw a ton of people off-roading. So we know that they're out there doing that. Now, I'm pretty sure that a lot of them at sunset pack it up and leave, but you just don't really know. The area we were in when we did our first live investigation, our first live stream out there, that was far away from any off-roading sites whatsoever. However, down at the base of the hill, the mountains, they're barely even mountains anymore. It is one of the oldest mountain ranges in the United States. I think it is the oldest mountain range. So the mountains themselves are actually glorified hills at this point. At the base of the mountain, there is an area where you could go camping. We drove through that area and there was nobody in that campground that night. We did that before we even started the live stream because we didn't want to run the risk of us being out there and investigating and somebody being way down below making noise, and we confused that for something else. So we kind of want to have a little integrity there. And that's why we also, when we're panning around, you can see the moon, we let you guys know it was the moon. We don't want you guys thinking that there's strange lights in the woods when it's just the moon. And we don't want you hearing strange noises when it's actually people camping. So we actually went around and checked that out just to make sure that was not going to be a possibility. And there was nobody down below. But we kept hearing strange noises, but we still just don't know because there are highways through there. So you don't know exactly what you're hearing and you can't really pinpoint what you're hearing. I think if we go back a few more times, maybe we'll get more of a baseline of what the normal sound levels are there. I know during the day, We're right in that flight path too. We heard so many planes going overhead. We had small and large planes going overhead, and it was just constant, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's something in this part of the South, at least, as the population's grown. Small plane traffic has like increased like dramatically over the past 2 years. I mean, like insane amount. So that was the other thing. Uwharrie's noisy, very, very noisy. It's small,
especially, and I was saying, especially in the summer. Normally, we wouldn't be making this kind of excursion during the summer. We've mentioned this several times at this point. Normally, we kind of take the summer off because the summers in the Southeast are insanely brutal. But we just couldn't take the summer off. There was just no way it was going to happen because we just had so much stuff going on. We've had so much activity. We're getting so many tips. We're getting so many stories that we had to just keep going. We had to go headlong into it and continue to check all this stuff out.
And it's been brutal.
It was very brutal. Yes. So when we were up at the Uwharrie, there's a lot of people out there. I'm wondering if in the winter it's not quite as populated, not quite as bad.
You may have already put this comment up, but you're safe.
I haven't.
My trunk is full of other YouTubers right now. Y'all are awesome.
I haven't put up any comments yet.
And then Gunpowder Al had put up $5. Thank you for that, Gunpowder Al.
Thank you very much. Yes.
I don't know if you saw that comment or not, but he was talking about how I needed to get some hostage targets to be able to shoot over your shoulder.
Yes, I did.
Yes, so I probably won't hit her. She may not be hearing out of one ear, but and then Whiskey with Cryptids had mentioned that, I guess Seth Breedlove had mentioned on the live stream the other night that we'll be filming with them in the LBL.
Okay, Whiskey with Cryptids. Thank you for letting us know that. Yes.
Yeah, we hadn't mentioned it, but
I guess we'll say it now. We are going to be filming with Small Town Monsters in the LBL for an upcoming Dogman documentary. So that's going to be very interesting, and we get to work with another group for the first time ever.
Never done that, so we have a real good working relationship. Well, I wouldn't say working relationship, just a real good relationship with Alex Pettikov, though.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to get out into the woods with him. He takes a real similar approach to a lot of this stuff. So,
but I think it's going to be a really fun crossover.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty neat.
It's gonna be a really fun crossover. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to learning a lot from the Small Town Monsters crew when it comes to filming this kind of stuff
and being able to present what you encounter, what you run into.
So, and I think we can offer them something when it comes to our field investigations and how we conduct those. So I'm really excited about doing that, and I'm glad that he mentioned that because I've been like chomping at the bit to talk about that and mention that. But we're really excited. So keep an eye out for all of that.
BR Gator asked, why go back to the Uwharrie? Plenty more places to investigate. We're getting some weird reports out of the Uwharrie.
And I'm simply not satisfied with with what we got. We were only there for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And we kind of went on a whim. Was it Friday? Was it Friday night? Yeah. Friday night I made dinner and we were about to watch a movie and something came up as a horror movie set in Uwharrie. And I was like, wow, we ought to see if we can go. We ought to go to the Uwharrie. So then we just packed up and went to the Uwharrie the next day. So it was very spur of the moment, but like every expedition we do, we like to do a little scouting. So we took that opportunity to actually just scout around. We drove around every road in the national forest. It's a national forest, right? Yeah. So we drove around every road out there, and then we did those live streams. But we just did a really good, solid scouting mission, and I think that's going to set us up and prepare us for a real set of investigations.
That and the way that our equipment acted in that cemetery
was very intriguing.
All right, first off, one of our pet peeves is that you'll see people with just this equipment and they don't know how it works. So we're pretty proficient in how each of the pieces of tech that we bring out into the field work before we take them out. If nothing else, because we don't want somebody sitting out there like we do going, this person has no clue what they're doing with this. So we make sure that we're pretty conversant with it. We make sure that no equipment sets other equipment off, and we test it around power lines, refrigerator, power. My final test is turn the microwave on and see how it works next to that. So the only time I've seen everything well, let me put it like this. The only time I've seen the EMF detector and the tri-field meter max out like that was next to a running microwave. That was pretty crappy and kind of leaky. You know, a better shielded microwave doesn't set it off like that. It certainly doesn't set off like that around power lines that are overhead. And there were no power lines overhead. That's an old cemetery. There's power lines down the road. The Uwharrie is weird. You'll have patches of woods and then like a home and then like another patch of woods. So everything's wooded, but you're never that far away from like something, some sort of building or some sort of residence or something like that. But nothing was that close to set it off. So that was weird. And then the fact that her lightning detector kept going off in that one spot. I tried to use one of our spectrum analyzers in there before we went live, and the spectrum analyzer, which measures RF frequencies, started like leveling out as well, started maxing out as well. And that thing is not working right to this day. I'm going to probably have to replace it. That might've just been a coincidence. I don't know, but I was messing with that. And then we started trying to test the other equipment. And that's when everything started like just going haywire. That's why we went live earlier than we planned to originally, because we were going, whoa, stuff's happening. Let's get them on there. That's kind of intriguing. That might be something natural. If it's something natural, it's something we haven't experienced any other spot at this point. So
I'm going through the chat right now. I'm just putting up all the stuff about, everybody's really excited about us teaming up with Small Town Monsters.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty neat, man.
That project. I think it's going to be cool.
The plan is, I don't know how well this is going to work, is that we are going to work on the work on the Small Town Monsters project. And then we want to grab like a couple of them and then like take them out like Hellbent Holler style, just like a couple people going to like a real, just sketchy ass area down there. Just kind of go in, just real light, just a few people, and just kind of see what happens at that point. So, all right, what do we got here?
Sorry, I'm looking through here. I'm just hitting them. I'm starting all these comments.
No, we have not.
Yeah, I just put that up. I wanted you to see it.
No, we have not.
Oh, that'll go well.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people are asking us why go back to the Uwharrie. A lot of people are already investigating it.
And you know what?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
How do we say this delicately?
They are not doing a good job at investigating it. I think that they're not. There's people that claim that they have possession of the Uwharrie, that they are the ones investigating the Uwharrie.
This is our spot.
It's our spot. No one else can come and investigate here. One thing, Joe knows this all too well. You never tell me I can't do something, because I'll be right there. I'll go do it. So, and if you look at what is going on, how people investigate this place, it's not up.
It's standard bang on tree, howl at moon type stuff.
So I think that we have something we can bring to the Uwharrie that nobody else has. And we can find out if there's anything going on there. There might not be anything going on there. This might just be a place that it's very easy to investigate, by the way, because it's very small and
I felt very safe the entire time, which is not the usual MO.
Yeah.
And there was like literally, if you needed like a cold drink, it was just 5 miles down the road.
There's a bar. there's a bar in the middle of it. You can go and have a delicious burger, I might add. One of the best burgers we've ever had at a Bigfoot themed biker bar in the middle of the Uwharrie. So you can have a beer and a burger pretty much 10 minutes from anywhere in the Uwharrie, correct?
Yes.
So,
thank you, Marcus.
Yes, thank you, Marcus.
I'm glad Seth is going to infuse himself with you, Jessi and Joe. This should be an epic transformation and documentary at a next level exploration. Yeah, they're going to be doing, and you know what? A lot of you guys out there probably know more than I do at this. Hey, thank you again, Marcus. I know they've got several projects planned, and I know they're talking to some other people that are associated with the LBL about taking part in it. They're going to be doing a follow-up with Aaron Dees and Shannon LeGros. And that's going to probably be more of like the standard kind of like interview witnesses type thing, like they did with the Texas Dogman Triangle. We interview people, we interview witnesses on like a weekly basis, but that's not our jam.
I don't want our forward-facing stuff to be interviews.
Well, you're probably going to be busting the brush with Alex Petikov and going through and doing some cool stuff. So
and like you would watch our channel. We have like no interviews on there. There's plenty of interview channels. There's plenty of story channels. what we do best is go in the woods and just face this head on. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stick to what we're good at.
All right.
Do we have a troll? Where's our troll? Encrypted Connection says, looks like we have a troll. I'm trying to go through this very quickly and I missed something.
What we got? So I need to give some people some moderator statuses.
I think you should promote Kyle to moderator.
Oh, good Lord. The power will go straight to his head. We can't have that.
And then anytime he has a success in life, he'll be like, I gave you the success by making you a moderator.
Damn right. Now that makes sense. So,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, so we're just gonna, and another thing too is the Uwharrie's not, that's within our range, so we can actually go and investigate that.
Yeah.
We have our spot that is the Laughing Beast. We have our Dark Corner spot. We have our North Georgia spot. We'll have our Uwharrie spot. And that way we can kind of mix things up and constantly be going to these different areas and staying unpredictable.
We were too predictable in North Georgia.
Yeah, because we kept hitting it.
Same spot, same time of the week. And there was a human element involved. So we needed to mix it up. Now we can have options as to what we can go out and do at the drop of a hat, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be like a half a day to get there and a half a day to get back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Kevin Clow, have you guys ever run across the little people in your investigations? In the North Georgia area that we've been investigating, we have found small footprints and we have found tree twists, but they're no more than like a 5 or 6 foot tall person could do if they could twist a tree like that. We have found small stuff up there, and that area figures very heavily in like little people, the Cherokee little people, folklore. People keep telling us it's juvenile Sasquatch, but where are the adults at? We've yet to run into any like large Bigfoot sized footprints in that particular area. So I don't know. We did find some really interesting smaller footprints outside of a cave up there. And it was a pretty small entrance to get into it. That was one of your first videos you did, right?
Yeah.
So I can't say that we've ran across them, but I have ran across.
I think that was the first video we ever released. We found that little footprint.
Yeah.
And that was in the Mountain Bridge Wilderness. It's on the border of South Carolina and North Carolina.
All right. BRG's got it. You can't stand still long enough to interview folks. They'll be like, I had a sighting over there, and you'll be like, over there, and then you'll just run. So
yeah. Everybody kept commenting on me just zipping around everywhere, especially in those like live streams. You're gonna have to like tether me, but I just go. I can't help it. Can't help it.
Good Lord.
Give me the power.
People are asking what the symbol on your necklace is.
It's like a goddess protection symbol. It was made by Blute Forge. He hand makes these. It's leather and iron, so it's kind of a protection amulet in a way.
Yeah.
So,
a couple quick things here. Do we think it's safe to go camping at the LBL? You know what? There are, I don't know how many thousands of people go camping there like every year. Most of them are in the structured campgrounds. Those seem to be really safe. You can get dispersed camping permits because we've gotten those before and gone through there. It's statistically, you're probably fine. I mean, that's like Smoky Mountain National Forest, which has a ton of strange disappearances. Statistically, you're fine. You're fine doing that. It happens more often there than other places, but statistically, you're still probably
now you are able to do dispersed camping in the LBL as long as you're a certain distance away from roadways and waterways. You can get a dispersed camping permit through the Land Between the Lakes website to do that. I think it was $10 or something like that. You can do that, or you can go camp at one of the established campgrounds that they have. They have, I think, about 8 established campgrounds that people take their families to. A lot of people go to and never have a single problem. So if you're interested in camping at the LBL and you are concerned about safety, you can always go to an established campsite.
Don't go alone. I mean, I wouldn't recommend going into the woods alone anyway. Do you realize you're not going to have cell signal through the vast majority of
That's
this place?
True.
But, if you go alone, I mean, there is a sketchy human element involved as well. You can't discount that. when we were finding those missing tents and all that, we were hearing two separate sets of stories. We were hearing that people were going missing and they thought it was because of criminal activity and it wasn't being reported or covered up or whatever. And then we heard that there were also criminals going missing and it wasn't being reported and covered up. So we can't speak to either one of those. That's just what we heard. All I can tell you is that we found two tents that seemed kind of weird. And
more than weird.
Yeah, and it matched up with what people were telling us. So,
chat's going faster than I can catch up.
Yeah, chat's going faster than I can catch up. So,
War Criminal 7, he's going to be dispersed camping in there this fall, and the LBL stay out of the campground. Yeah. Let's see here. Daniel Calabrese, you are hammering me here. I know.
What is your intent with these hunts? You answer that.
My intent with these hunts is to go out and gather evidence of the existence of possible cryptids.
Yes.
I think that's the simplest
and
thing.
Even if we don't gather the smoking gun, at least show that there are people that are taking a serious look into it.
Yeah.
Taking it a step beyond just, the recounting of previous experiences, trying to actually go out there and physically look for the stuff.
And taking a novel approach to it, gathering real data, getting real evidence, even if it's not big stuff like Joe says, the smoking gun, even if it's small stuff, even little things add more and more and more to give us a bigger picture.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're gonna need a moderator because the chat goes
too damn fast nowadays.
The rents are too damn high and the chat's too damn fast. All right.
Yeah, this is another thing. Overland 1, there's a great YouTube video that explains that the tree that you found had a 90-degree bend, which then went straight up. We kind of referenced that. They were used as markers to point towards important cultural locations. That one, sometimes you just see them where the tree was just bent over and broken and then it just started regrowing. That one was shaped like that. That was at a perfect angle. So we think that's one of the things that we thought was extremely interesting in there, that tree was pointing towards something. So
Gosshawk said this about my lightning detector. Your lightning detector was an interesting piece of gear, kept going off on one of your outings. And somebody even asked earlier if we keep a GPS markings of where it goes off and everything. So the lightning detector goes off and it gives you the range. We don't know the direction in which the activity happened. We just know the range. If it was a mile, 2 miles, 4 miles away, and how many strikes have occurred. That's the only data I can get for it. But we're hoping that we can kind of run it and kind of get more data the more we use it.
It's another data point. And a lot of this stuff that we use, we use stuff that traditional ghost hunters use, like the tri-field meter. Everybody who's watched a ghost show on Discover Your Channel has seen that tri-field meter. It's not being used correctly a lot of times, but it's being used. So we use that. We use spectrum analyzers. The lightning detector, we ripped that straight off of Skinwalker Ranch because everybody was telling us about Skinwalker Ranch and the 1.6 gigahertz signal. So if Lady Wolf's in here, I was actually talking to her online about it a couple days ago. We don't have cable. We don't watch a lot of TV. So we were kind of scouring through the available YouTube clips of Skinwalker Ranch to see if we could find something about this 1.6 gigahertz signal. Because if you guys remember, we were picking up, our equipment's not as precise as theirs, and we're trying to upgrade that. But we were getting between a 1.58 and a 1.61 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw they were using lightning detectors, and I'll admit it, we stole that idea. That was not anything original on our part. The idea is that just gives us another piece of sensor tech, because it seems like whatever's happening is causing disruptions of an electromagnetic nature. And that's whether you're dealing with Sasquatch, Dogman, UAPs. So that's one of the things I think that we do pretty novelly as far as outdoor weird researchers is try to actually get some sensor data. We have an environmental data logger that will take humidity, temperature, everything like that, just to kind of give us another data set. Let's see here.
I'm making notes on some stuff just because we're getting some interesting stuff here, and then I can't keep up with the comments.
What do you got?
What is up with this turd talking trash?
Who was talking trash?
I don't know. get in line, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. All right. I'm going to go into these. If you want to start scanning, I'm going to go.
I'm scanning right now.
You scan, and we'll start going into some of these that I have starred out.
Lane County Bigfoot's
Oh,
got
shit.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Lane County Bigfoot's got a question. Does it require a subscription to Weather Electronic? No, that's a Kestrel drop that Jessi got from her buddy, Chuck. He gave us one and Mike Ann from Tactical Bigfoot Research one.
If you're ever in the Greenville, South Carolina area and you got a hankering for a cigar and a delicious cocktail, please check out Torch Cigar Bar. It's located on Stone Avenue, and the proprietor, Chuck, is an awesome dude. So now back to our regular scheduled program.
Whatever you were going to get there. So,
Bill and Ted. LBL is burned out. I think move on to different places. Barton nailed it. I don't think that LBL is burned out. There's a lot of focus on LBL as of the past few years. I know that we've hit it a fair amount, but you don't really realize until you're there on the ground how vast and how deep and dark those forests can be.
And how
remote,
isolated some of those areas are.
Mm-hmm.
You get people at the horse camp, the off-roading camp, the structured campgrounds, where the bison are, very small spots.
Small concentrated areas.
And then you have areas that there's just really not a lot of people into. And the other thing I want to say too is that there's a lot of discussion about the LBL.
Boy, if you have a belief in tulpas,
the LBL should be
the LBL should be ramping up as a result of that energy.
But the other thing too is that we have several of the locations that we've showcased on the channel have never been showcased before. Nobody has ever gone in and investigated them before. Everybody's centered around that spot of the 82 massacre. There's a whole lot more going on down through there. There's the area down around where Martin Groves' attack happened at.
We just started scratching the surface on that particular area.
We could investigate down there every week for the rest of our lives, and we would only be scratching the surface. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of areas that nobody has ever seen. And I think one of those areas in particular is the campground that we featured in our latest video that we put up on the channel on Sunday. We found that campground that looks like it was completely wrecked. It looked like it was destroyed, which is part of the story and a part of the lore around the 82 massacre, that after that happened at that campground, that it got wrecked. Well, we went to that area where that attack allegedly happened, and we found no evidence of a campground ever being there. But then we go to this place, which is miles and miles and miles away. And this is exactly what that is. It is a campground that has been wrecked, even down to the power poles being cut off.
And it's weird because we found some remnants, like on the Wayback Machine and stuff like that. Some stuff that had talked about that campground and that it was being shut for repairs. It was and just all of this stuff. And then a couple of mentions about, it's just it's not safe to be in there. And because of the buildings are collapsing. And like we've always said, there are several collapsing buildings all over the LBL that are just far larger and far more dangerous that nothing's ever done about because they don't have the budget. But yet they had the budget to even take down the little shack where you'd buy ice at and to cut the power poles down.
There is a spot in the LBL that it was like an observation tower. It's an old silo because there used to be a farm out there, and it's an old silo that they turned into a tourist attraction at one point in time. There were steps leading up to it, and you go to the top of the silo and you can look out over the lake and just look around and check it out. Well, that has fallen into massive disrepair.
And it's
left there to rot.
It's like what? 80 feet tall.
Yeah.
And it's like a silo, and you can just walk right up to it and bang on it and watch pieces fall down.
Yeah.
That it's not a safety concern because they don't have the money to tear that down. But yet they had to go into this campground and basically erase any vestige of it being there whatsoever. We just found stuff like signs that were kind of tossed behind bushes and forgotten. It just looked like they kind of got lazy, or they were rushing towards the end of the job and left some of the stuff. So. All right.
Kim Drescher. I would love to meet Chuck and have a cigar.
We will tell Chuck you said that.
We'll tell Chuck you said that. Hellbenders are always welcome at Torch Cigar Bar.
Ghetto Yeti had hold on. I think I already hit Ghetto Yetis. Let's see here.
Ghetto Yeti.
It was Ghetto Yeti. He had said that 1.6 gigahertz signal has been on several things he's seen. We heard about Skinwalker. I don't remember being at Blind Frog Ranch because we did actually watch that. We watched that. Well, I guess we watched the first.
We watched the second
Did
season.
we watch the second season?
Oh yeah, we love Blind Frog
I don't know
Ranch.
who Carl the Crusher is at Mount Wilson Ranch. I've heard of Mount Wilson Ranch, but I guess that's cropping up somewhere else. Ghetto, if you got a chance to like send us anything, like just via email, drop us a line there, man. So.
I've got one here. I'm going to throw the email up in a second. I just wanted to throw this up here right now from The Spot. A friend of mine has a story about the Dogman up here in Newton, North Carolina. I'm going to take this opportunity to put up my scrolling little ticker here. Down here at the bottom, you have my email address. If you have information like that in an area that's nearby us, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, drop us a line at hellbentholler@gmail.com. And we will look into that. If you've got a story or a location or something like that you'd like to tell us about, we are all ears. We love getting all of this email and finding out about new spots and new encounters in these areas. Joseph. All right, sure. We're trying to get through the chat.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm so far behind. It's crazy.
I'm catching up.
We're going to have to hire somebody.
Yeah.
Wizardman 13 is a firm believer in tulpas. Yeah, people are talking about the LBL a lot, and there's a lot of attention on the LBL. So if you do believe in tulpas.
We've talked about this before. In North Georgia, a Bigfoot museum opened up that also has the name Expedition Bigfoot, no association with the TV show at all. But once that museum opened up, the Bigfoot sightings in that area like skyrocketed. And maybe it's just because everybody's got Bigfoot on the brain, and every time they see a bear, they're going, oh, it's a Bigfoot. Or maybe, just maybe, all that mental energy and thought concerning that topic is somehow strengthening the activity in that area. Kevin Close got a good question. Why would an enemy be mad about you guys going to look for Dogman and the LBL? That's just dumb. That is dumb. I still don't. This is a huge, no matter what you think about that you're going to talk about in this subject, somebody's talked about it before. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'll sometimes go, wow, this is the most brilliant idea I've ever had. And then find out that there was like an Art Bell episode about it, like, 15 years ago. This is a big topic that nobody really knows anything about, and it's still just all a mystery. So nobody has any firm answers. So I don't understand why people get very territorial and stuff. We very much enjoy people to take different approaches than us. I don't think everybody needs to be taking the same approach or have the same theory out there, because you're kind of boxing yourself in and limiting your approach to something like this. Everything should be on the table as far as this stuff goes. And that's kind of our approach. We're not really ruling a lot of stuff out at this point. But I think a lot of people, it's more about self-aggrandizing and kind of just look how cool I am than actually, hey, look how weird this stuff is. So.
Shelton and Dawn have a little point here. I really enjoyed Inhumanoid's last upload. It's definitely my favorite. Barton put up a video titled The Brotherhood of the Wolf, and it's everybody that's been to the LBL with him. So we are in there. It's a good little homage to everybody that's took time to go out and do boots on the ground investigation in the LBL.
Oh, hold on. Ronnie Moore, do you think they had cameras up in the area at your last video and were coming out there to get you out of there? The sheriff showed up pretty quick. It's one of three. It's one of four, a couple of things. Actually.
Oh Jesus, how many?
It's a bunch of things. It's a bunch of things. In a way, it felt silly hiding from that helicopter, and in another way, it felt like that's what we needed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That did not. As soon as Jesse's like, "Let's get under this tree," I didn't really fight that much. I went, "This kind of feels right." And I even said in the video, and I think you included it, I just went, if they've got thermal, they've already picked us up.
Yeah.
They've already got us. That's an extreme possibility, but that's a possibility. There's another possibility is that there are cameras throughout the LBL. And we're just going to leave it at that. But there's cameras throughout the LBL. Hidden cameras throughout the LBL. So we'll leave it at that. That's a possibility. Or it was just a weird coincidence. So, because we didn't see anybody up there. There was nobody in those vehicles. They could have been watching us from the tree line. We wouldn't have known. Yeah. Because we pulled up and went, why are there people here? Because there's like nothing, there's no sign of like recent like visitation, like anybody back there. There's no like cigarette butts, candy wrappers. There's nothing back there that looks
There was
like
only a lot of coyote
scat. And we saw that. And then we realized we saw the plates. And then I saw that one very discreet little sticker on there. And then I'm like, these are cops. So we decided to just get out. And again, we're not doing anything illegal. But at the same token, we don't want to get jammed up by the authorities.
Because here's what could happen. Here's my worst case scenario is that, and this kind of came to almost happening to us while we were there in the LBL for that last excursion, that one of these feds come in, they question us, and then they search our vehicle, and I've got a thermal. Say I got a thermal that is a $6,000 or $7,000 thermal. It's in a case, but it's just tossed out of my vehicle onto the concrete. And then my $7,000 thermal is busted.
And we're self-funded, man.
We're self-funded. So they toss my vehicle, and then all of my equipment that I spent a lot of money on and a lot of time and effort to acquire is just destroyed. And then they jam us up. They arrest us for God knows what. We're out of state.
And we'll get out, and no charges will stick because we're not doing anything illegal. But at the same token, we just spent days getting this taken care of when we could have been doing the investigations that we originally came for. So,
and if my thermal gets busted, then I'm going to lose my mind. So, yeah.
Barton's out. Barton says the LBL will never be burned out. So, what's up, buddy? So, all right. Everybody's rolling up in here.
Rolling up.
We mentioned Martin Groves a bunch of times, and we mentioned that he was on the case on some of the stuff that we talked about. And if you're wanting to see some of the stuff that's been compiled, you know, Martin's released 2 books. The first one's about his own attack, that the encounter attack, whatever you want to call it. And the second one is about some of the research he's done in that area. And some people have asked us some stuff, and I've just had to go, can't really say anything. It's not our story to tell. Just keep an eye on Martin Groves. Some of the information will come out down the road. So we're not trying to be shady. It's just that he's doing the legwork on a lot of this stuff. Let him be the one to talk it. So
for sure.
All right.
God, I'm trying to catch up here.
We got 383 in the chat, man.
Yeah, make sure you hit that like button.
Would it kill you to hit the like button? Would it kill you to hit the damn
there's a lot of FUPA discussion in the chat, so that's where we're at right now.
That's where we're always at.
We're always.
Why would tonight be different than any other night that we do this, man?
Hellbent holler in the shadow of the FUPA.
Erev talks. Erev. I've heard others, quote unquote, others talk about going to the LBL like it's nonsense or whatever. I highly disagree. Here's the thing with the LBL: it's the same. You have people that live in the area of Skinwalker Ranch that will tell you, lived here my whole life. Nothing weird's ever happened to me.
Bama says he used to drive by the LBL every night, and he doesn't stop at any of the exits close to it.
There you go. So for every person you find that says it's nonsense, I live in the area and nothing happens, you might have to look a little bit, but you're going to find a 1-for-1 ratio almost of people going, there's some weird stuff going here. I've never experienced it, but my grandmother told us stories, or I was out one time and had this happen. It's like that any spot that has, somebody was mentioning Chestnut Ridge earlier. There's people out there that have lived near the Chestnut Ridge their entire life, and they've never seen or heard anything weird, and they think it's all nonsense. People also, if they come into this with their minds already made up, they're going to explain away anything that happens to them, you know? So that's part of it. The other part too is you've got to realize that with all the talk of the LBL that's on like YouTube and podcasts and all that, there's not a lot of people actually going out there and like, you know, throwing a backpack on, grabbing a flashlight and hitting the woods. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, when they realize they can't go out and physically do it for whatever reason, they have a tendency to just kind of start to naysay it at that point. Because quite honestly, as far as like the window areas go to, like those spots across the country that have like a lot of weird activity, Skinwalker Ranch, Chestnut Ridge, you know, the LBL and all that. The LBL's actually got several different people going out and looking into it, you know, that all kind of talk, but they're all doing it separately. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of people kind of naysay it. A lot of people, you know, well, I heard a guy say nothing happened and there's my proof that nothing's going on out there. listen, man, people are going to naysay anything. So, all right.
Still trying to go here. Maybe we could hire our cat to come in here and read the chats and organize all of this.
And I'm just caught up to the FUPA talk, so.
You're just on the FUPAs.
I'm just catching the FUPA talk, so.
Oh, there's nothing beyond the FUPA. No. Susan Christmas, is this show ever on the rails?
Never, so. Paul M's in here. Paul M, he says, I like for people to express different ideas from me. Maybe we can meet in the middle or I can see what's missing. Paul M's like the poster child for that. Yes. Paul M will basically just in a very polite way, in a very well thought out and grounded way, go, I don't think that's the case. This is what I think is going on here.
Yeah.
And
I like the balance that he brings to the
a
discussion.
Definite balance. But here's the deal. And not once does he ever insult anybody. And not once does he do anything. And it's thoughtful. It's well thought out. I have a hard time going. I go, you know what? I think something else is going on, but I can't disagree with your thought process here, you know? So yeah, exactly. That's he brings a lot of value to what we do here. So, all right.
Marcus Aurelius says the LBL held two respectable cops against their will. Imagine what they would do to
That's
the
an
layman.
extremely good point. Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Sure. Lane County Bigfooters asked us earlier, how close are you guys to Scott Carpenter's areas?
Scott Carpenter mostly operated in the Smoky Mountain National Forest. And if you ever watch his videos, he's in the park. He's on the trails there. And this comes up every damn time we release a video. People are like, why don't you wear a backwards facing camera like Scott Carpenter did? And I'm going,
that's come up about 500 times in the chat today.
And we're in a different environment. If you look at where Scott Carpenter is, he's passing other people. He's catching activity, but he's on a level trail that's cleared and it has a clear line of sight behind him. A lot of times we're busting through brush and it's not as easy as just having a rear facing GoPro. Let me take you through the mechanics of it a little bit. We run our GoPros on external battery power. Okay. Because otherwise we would be switching batteries out constantly.
Because we're out there for hours.
16, 18 hours at a stretch if we're not out there for a few days. So you've got to put it on your backpack. You've got to rig it up to external power. And then you have got to now go through all of that footage, which 99.99% of it is going to be useless because of just the way we're moving through the terrain. Okay. We're not on level hiking paths. So occasionally we're on old roads, but that ain't for long. So it's a time thing. We're the only two people reviewing all this footage. We're the only two people reviewing all this audio. We don't have a staff that we come back to, and we have got to try to stay alert. I mean, hell, you guys have caught stuff that we've missed.
Yeah, because this is a two-person operation.
Yes.
It's literally just us.
So now we're gonna. It's the law of averages. Yes, I might catch something. She might catch something, but when Scott Carpenter, God rest his soul, he would talk openly about he has hundreds of hours of video that he's never going to get to at that point. So with us, I'm just going, we're never going to get to it. Let's focus on the stuff we can get. Maybe eventually those circumstances will change. Maybe we'll have help to review footage that we can rely on, and maybe we'll start doing it. But for right now, there's a reason why we ain't doing it. So, all right. I'm still on the damn FUPA talk. Good God almighty.
You can't get away from the FUPA. You're addicted to the FUPA.
Addicted to the FUPA.
This is actually true. Raffmaster23 says, those people won't be happy until you're wearing bicycle helmets with 8 GoPros strapped to it.
Yeah. So
listen, the reviewing of the footage of all that is just insane. We're out there for 16 hours. So imagine 8 cameras. 16 hours per camera, plus all the audio. I mean, I would never get a video out. Yeah. I'd never do my laundry.
We would never do anything. So
never get to go to my day job. I mean, it's impossible. You get to where it's just, you cannot do it.
Yep. Oh, hold on.
What you got?
Nothing. I'm just, yeah, and people are talking about how we can get Mylar blankets to block thermal, but we can't hike in those. Somebody was saying we needed like a lead-lined ghillie suit, and I'm going, we're on foot, man. You know?
Although I guess you could pop out the blanket before the helicopter comes near you.
Yeah, I guess you could do that.
I didn't expect.
Usually, by the time you hear it, they've got you.
I didn't expect a helicopter to be swooping over us
Yep,
while we're out just hiking and checking these spots out. So.
Chat is rolling. There are so many damn Hellbenders, man. So
yeah, it's a motley crew, that's for sure. Yeah, Encrypted Connections said I've got 20 plus hours of audio that I'm still reviewing.
We have, I don't even know. We have terabytes. I mean, terabytes. I mean, we have. I don't even want to sit here and measure it up right now because it's going to get depressing. We have terabytes of stuff that we still need to go through, especially like audio stuff. So, I mean, I think what it is that a lot of people enjoy this, and it's entertainment. You know what I'm saying? It's entertaining. It's fun, you know? And you look at like some of the shows that are on, they've got a whole staff of people to help them. You know what I'm saying? And let's just be honest, man. They're going out there, they're shooting what they need to shoot, they're recording what they need to record, and then they're cutting it, and then they're giving it to the freaking, I don't know, the assistants and going, go through this and see what we got. And then they're going back to the hotel. You know, it's just us. And everything, anytime we're out, we have got our main camera, sometimes a secondary camera, a audio recorder going that we're still messing around with, trying to cut down the noise that we make moving to see if we can catch stuff in the distance. And then any like hidden cameras, because we'll do hidden cameras every once in a while. Any like hidden audio recorders, all of that is something that's got to be reviewed hour for hour. So
yeah. Jesus.
People talking about the dark dive. We've had a lot of people asking about dark dive. Dark dive is what we did last summer when it was too hot to go into the woods.
Yeah.
And it's too hot to go into the woods this year, but there's so much stuff going on. We're going to try to figure out if we can adjust to do some more dark dive stuff where we're just sitting around talking about topics, just topical. So, all right. So let's see what else we got here. Kevin Clow, have you ever tried dowsing rods? The Deuster gave Jessi some dowsing rods, but I don't think we have used them in the field yet.
No, not yet. I'm still a novice on the dowsing, but I will try them out.
Gunpowder Owl had said, do y'all lean towards UFOs, Bigfoots, Dogman, ghosts, and all, et cetera, being related, or do you think there's different things out there? Yes, I don't know. It's some of this stuff definitely seems related, but I don't think it's just one thing going on. I think some of this stuff is maybe drawn to similar areas at similar times, maybe for reasons that we can't understand. Some of it, even though it seems extremely like dissimilar, seems to have some sort of connection to it at all. I always talk about the similarities between a lot of Sasquatch sightings and a lot of UAP sightings. And I'm not saying that UAPs are spaceships from another planet and they're getting out and the Sasquatch are getting out like Wookiees and walking around, but there's a lot of similarities. Equipment drain, equipment malfunction, people being affected by an unseen force, missing time sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Mind speak, some sort of telepathy. There's a lot of similarities that go on. And maybe it's just separate things that have a lot of similarities, or maybe some of this stuff is all from like the same source.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't think anybody knows at this point, so.
Today Saban says super blue moon on Wednesday, plans for a live stream. We are actually going to be on.
We should have mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, we're going to actually be on Night Callers Radio.
Yeah, we're going to be on Night Callers Wednesday night. That's going to be our last interview that we do for a while.
Yeah.
So, and when I say a while, I don't know. Could be 6 months. It could be a year, but that's the last one we're doing for a while. We'll be on Night Callers Wednesday night. So hopefully a bunch of Hellbenders will roll into the chat.
Yeah, we totally forgot to mention that, but yes,
Wednesday we should have mentioned that first thing. But
yeah, yeah, Night Callers Wednesday night. Make sure you guys come out for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a good conversation. But yes, that is going to be our last guest appearance on anybody else's show for a while.
Because here's the deal, Night Callers. That's one of the first kind of established Bigfoot podcast type things. I remember it from the old Blog Talk Radio days.
Blog Talk
that
Radio.
Lady's voice, Blog Talk Radio. But I remember listening to it back then, And a lot of times it's, you know, here, let me show you my footprint cast. Here, let me show you my tree knocking stick. Now it's going to be Jessi and I on there going, check out this like infrasound detection device that we had built, you know. It's going to be wild. So we would very much like to have a lot of Hellbenders kind of roll into the chat that night, kind of up the wild level. So,
yeah.
All right, what do we got?
Encrypted Connection says, Lauren is great. Well, that will be an awesome show.
It'll be an awesome show. Our friend Mike Ann went on there and did the show, and Mike Ann is like he's got a thing called tactical Bigfoot research. He approaches everything very tactically, and we use a lot of the same equipment. We bounce ideas off a lot of each other. I've never met somebody whose mind just never stops going. You know what I'm saying? He'll just like look at something and he'll go, oh, I could use that for, you know, for my research. He's a great guy. So he had mentioned us on there and she reached out afterwards. So we will be on the show, and then that'll be it. The only time you're going to see us is on our own stuff for a while. So
Kim Dresser has a good idea. I'm going to put a thing on our channel for the night callers, and I'll do an announcement for it.
Trail Time ZR2. What are your thoughts on portals and dimensional cryptids?
Would that be a Chevy ZR2?
Is that a Chevy ZR2?
Would that be a ZR2 truck or a Blazer? Are you a Blazer guy or a truck guy? I have a ZR2 Blazer. That is my project car. So
that's kind of where I'm leaning at with a lot of this stuff nowadays. There might very well be a small population of some sort of relic hominid walking around out there. I go back and forth on that. Some days to me, it just seems impossible. And then other days I'm out in the woods and I go, maybe it's a lot of luck or something else going on in association with it, but it's possible. But a lot of this stuff to me seems like it comes here, it does its thing, and then it leaves. And I don't think a lot of the arguments against that is, well, what I saw was eating, or what I saw left scat or left marks on the ground. Well, maybe it is a biological creature from somewhere else that eats and leaves scat and leaves marks and just, but it's just not here all the time. If it was here all the time, we'd have more evidence of it. As much as it's seen in like every state. I don't know if there's any in Hawaii at this point, but it's seen everywhere across the globe. And yet there's no real, and I know that, so-and-so found a hair, so-and-so had a unique DNA sample for something that seems to be everywhere and is seen by God knows how many people. There'd be more physical evidence. You would just run into them. I don't know. It just seems like, so that's where I'm leaning towards with it, man. And I think that that's where the UFO UAP thought process from the people that are most read in has moved to as well. So Shade Viking. I just want to know if Hellbent Holler ever used Gorilla Pee yet on a mission. We
can't acquire Gorilla Pee.
I'm probably on a list somewhere. I'm probably on some sort of like biological terrorism task force list because I'm trying to contact these labs that supply stuff like that. And they had Gorilla Pee listed. And I'm going, a much more professional manner, but I'm going, what's it going to take for a dude to get some Gorilla Pee? Never got an answer from anybody.
Well, maybe you don't approach it like that.
I said I'd ask in a much more professional manner.
You sound like a freaking creep when you're asking for Gorilla Pee like that.
So we still have some Sasquatch pheromone chips left.
Mm-hmm.
Those will eweventually go bad if we don't use them.
They smell like they've already gone bad, but
they smell like they've gone bad the day we got them. So
we're going to go Jason Grizz Horrell. There we go. Are y'all worried about getting busted by the fuzz when you go back to the LBL with STM, considering the fact that there'll be a lot more people out there filming y'all? That is not my responsibility or problem. So then they're responsible for setting up whatever they're setting up in terms of like filming and getting permission to do everything they need to do. So that's their department, not mine.
I ain't worried about it. And here's why. Because say they roll up and there's like 6 people there with cameras and all this. What are you guys doing? Shooting some video. What's up? Obviously they're shooting video. When we're out, we're just us on foot miles from there. We're carrying everything we need on our backs. And what ran into us last time is somebody was calling in to the LBL claiming people of our description were out there vandalizing stuff.
Yeah.
And it would get worked out because guess what? We've got footage of everything we're doing. We can show you from point A to point B and show me where the vandalism is. It would get settled. It would just be a huge hassle. So I don't think that's not something I'm worried about necessarily. So I'm saying that right now. Watch us live streaming from jail with Seth Breedlove, you know what I'm saying? And Gen Pop. So
Jerry Faust, thank you for that $20 super
you,
sticker.
Jerry.
I really appreciate that. That is awesome of you to contribute to our work and our research and our equipment fund. We really appreciate any support that you can throw our way. That is awesome of you, Jerry. Jerry. Deuster of Cryptids and Critters Paranormal says, don't forget my show with Encrypted Encounters tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's going to be Encrypted Encounters with Dewey. All right. Jimmy asks, Joe, you're going to love this one. Have you ever been hit with infrasound from a Sasquatch?
I don't think anybody's ever been hit with infrasound from a Sasquatch. So I don't think infrasound is being used in that manner. And I'm not going to bore everybody else here, but go check out our infrasound dark dive. Was it a dark dive we did? It all runs together after a while.
I think we did a dark dive
on infrasound. We have a piece of a tech that we acquired to test for infrasound, because to me, infrasound doesn't make sense. People are getting zapped, if you want to call it that. Things are happening. I just think that it's something else other than infrasound. It almost seems as if it's some sort of EMF field or ionizing radiation or something electromagnetic, as opposed to a mechanical sound wave that's just below 20 hertz. So I might be wrong. And guess what? And here's the deal. You won't know until you test for it. And nobody else in the Bigfoot community has ever tested for it. They've just taken it as gospel. So I might come back here one day going, you guys ain't going to believe it. I will say this. If it is infrasound, it's something that's using infrasound in a way that nothing else on earth uses it. Not blue whales, not crocodiles, not rhinos, not tigers, nothing. So cannot even really be replicated mechanically. So if that's happening, then guess what? Everything just got a lot weirder at that point. So
Wild Captures says, what's the street value of Gorilla P these days? I think the sky's the limit and the market dictates price. So there's your answer for that one, young man.
Susan Crimson said, soon you'll have 1 million followers. You'll have assistants and an office staff, maybe a chauffeur. Oh, yes, indeed. That's going to be us.
And it won't be our cat driving.
Yeah.
Marcus Aurelius, thank you for that $9.99, sir. Marcus Aurelius says, that really freaked me out when you guys came across 2 unmanned government vehicles, one from Tennessee and one from Kentucky, in front of a no trespassing marker. What the hell was going on there?
Thank you for that, Marcus. We appreciate that. I don't know.
We think, we have a theory that they were alerted to our presence in that area. That area is kind of a long hike.
Long hike up in there. And there's no other vehicles up. That's why we were shocked when we saw stuff up there, because we'd scouted that area a little bit and we didn't see nothing. So I don't know.
Yeah. It was a kind of a sticky situation for us. It was
I just threw something up from Shade Viking, but he's talking about ghost hunters. Stephen Tango, review this footage for 12 hours while we go to Applebee's. That's what we need, man. We need like production assistants, you know.
Matt's Tube of You, thank you for the $5, sir. New to the channel and
People making it rain in here, man. Good Lord. All right. So
new to the channel and love the content. Was wondering which equipment for investigating has come out recently that you really like. We've been really enjoying the infrasound equipment because that's something that nobody else is using out in the field.
Thank you, Matt's Tube of You. Something that we really like that we don't have yet is we are going to upgrade we've got good thermals, but technology marches on, man. You know what I'm saying? So we are going to need to upgrade that a bit down the road. We need to upgrade our spectrum. I need a new spectrum analyzer, and when I get it, it's going to get upgraded. I'll tell you the thing that we're really excited about that I think is going to be really cool once the price starts coming down is some of that fusion technology that blends 3rd gen night vision with thermal.
Yeah.
That's like predator vision, man. That's awesome. So that's outside of our budget for right now, but we will get to that point eventually, and we're going to get there a lot quicker with Jeremiah Sartro giving us $49.99.
Thank you, Jeremiah Sartro. Bless you both. Hope to see you at the Mothman Festival. We have never attended the Mothman Festival before. Yeah. I don't know if we have plans to go, but
we probably won't go this. Is it this year? Or is it already happened?
No, it's not happened yet.
Okay. When does it happen?
I don't know.
Well, Jeremiah, you know what? If you see an extremely good-looking tall guy with a helmet and holler hat
And a
and a
lowly little troll.
at the Mothman Festival, come up and say hey.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Thank you, Sarah, very
thank
much.
you for that, by the way. Thank you. So,
Jimmy Mims. Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy Mims, get out of jail fund.
Yeah,
we're going to need it.
What's up, Mims? So, pyromedic is, if you ever feel something, just hold the GoPro over your shoulder for a few seconds. That's what I generally try to do, because this is the thing that gets me, is everybody's like, they can sense the cameras. They know what the cameras are. Da, 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 da. But then it's like, put a camera on your back. You'll get them when you walk by. It can't be both. So what we try to do is generally just pan around with the camera as we go. If I think something weird is going on, I just kind of go over my shoulder, try to get it. And apparently that's worked a few times. So there you go.
I'm trying to figure out when the show is on Wednesday for you guys. At some point, I will find it.
Yeah,
Kim Drescher said infrasound is being used for lack of another term. I think that's correct as well.
Here's what, and let me just go through the rant Rolodex here and pick out that card. What has happened is that people were they found the idea of an undiscovered ape easier to swallow themselves and easier to present to people who had not had encounters themselves. Listen, this is just an undiscovered ape. It's just like, biologists discover new species every year. This is just something that hasn't been discovered yet. Well, then the weirder stuff started getting reported. And instead of going, whoa, this is maybe a little bit weirder than an undiscovered ape, they started looking for other like natural equivalents to kind of grasp onto, to kind of keep that this is just an undiscovered animal story going on. And when people heard that offhand comment by a bioacoustician named Muggenthaler, that tigers might use infrasound to stun their prey, everybody just latched onto that. And infrasound especially kind of became the catch-all explanation for anything strange that happened. And if you do more than just cursory reading on it, and you actually bore yourself with reading a lot of this stuff on there, you start to realize that ain't the case. So
I've got the information here for the Nightcallers Bigfoot radio appearance. It's a live show, so you guys can hop into the chat and be in the live chat with us. It is at 7:30 Eastern time, 6:30 Central time on Wednesday, August 30th. So awesome. You guys come out and let's have a really good showing of the Hellbenders. Everybody come out, get in that chat, and let's get weird. Let's try not to get weird with it. Let's get weird with it. Let's try not to scare Lauren too much.
Oh, because trust me, this is an honor going on the show. This is like, again, a show with a lot of pedigree to it.
Yeah.
So,
but make sure you go over to the Nightcallers page and get ready for that. Sign up for the notification for that. But that's gonna be live on YouTube. So make sure you guys come and join us in the chat.
Daniel, I do not want to earn their thrust. I do not want that, sir. No, not at all. Did I get you with that?
Yeah.
You got me? So, yeah. All right.
Better earn that thrust.
All right.
Oh, no. Joe Parker letting me know that my mystical creature in the trees is leaves.
Ah, the old leaf debate. So
the mist producing mystical. Suki says that I don't think infrasound is causing the effects. I think it's just an adrenaline dump.
That's a whole nother show at this point. I think you're maybe right in certain cases.
Paul M. Infrasound is way overrated.
It is way overrated. So you are correct on some of that stuff. Like, that was one of the things that when I saw some follow-up to that tiger comment, people were going, no, there's just a tiger growling at you. Even if it's behind bars and it's roaring at you, it's pretty freaking scary, Mm-hmm. It's back into our lizard brains, I mean, our only reason you're here is because your ancestors heard that noise and dove into a cave. So it's kind of hardwired into you genetically to not to kind of quake in your boots and not want to be around that sound. So
Johnstead Farm said, if I'm thinking right, hasn't it been a year since you guys started your Monday live chats? Wasn't the first one right after last year?
Are we on the year anniversary? So
are we? I have to check. You do a thing and I'll check. Do a thing. Do that thing.
Got a lot of people that, like Eric Bailey, that just found our channel 2 weeks ago. Very interesting. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trying to catch up on older vids. You will definitely see a progression in how we do stuff, our thought process, and
our very first one was September 6th, 2022.
Coming up on the 1 year. Next year's going to be the 1 year.
We are coming up. We're going to have to do a year celebration. Right. I'm going to put that, making myself a little note there. Thank you for reminding me of that, Johnstead Farm.
So a lot of good infrasound discussion right now. And I'm going to just come out to this real quick. Infrasound, it's hard to get good information on infrasound nowadays. Do you know why? Because infrasound, the main man-made generator of infrasound are wind turbines for wind farms. People, even if they like the idea of green energy, don't want wind farms near their houses. So you pay for a study from scientists saying this infrasound is harming my clients. And then the wind farm industry will have their scientists go, infrasound doesn't have effects like that. What you really want to look at is try to stay away from that and look at it from a biological standpoint. Elephants are larger than tigers with a larger lung capacity. And you don't see zookeepers who are in charge of the elephant pens reporting anything from elephant infrasound. And infrasound from elephants can go for miles. Whales, water is a better medium for sound transmission than air is. Whales can send infrasound for hundreds of miles, and people swim next to whales, and marine biologists are next to whales. You don't see them bobbing up to the surface unconscious.
So you do have an issue with whales, though. It's not infrasound, but they do communicate through a series of clicks, and the clicks are so loud, like the decibel, the audible sound from these clicks that they produce. It's not infrasound, but it's just the actual.
It's volume, not frequency.
Volume. Yeah. It will actually possibly kill you. The divers that dive next to these whales are terrified, but the whales never use it near them because whales are one of the most intelligent creatures on the planet.
So,
but yes, a whale could kill you.
Look at the brain on that whale. But so if you look at documented, there's not a lot of like harmful human infrasound interactions with the animal kingdom. We would assume that elephants are larger with a larger lung capacity than like a Sasquatch. They ain't doing it. Whales are even larger and they're in water and they ain't doing it. So, but you start to look at some of the stuff that's reported, and you look at, I'm experiencing battery drain. I'm experiencing equipment malfunctions. The physical effects that people talk about when they talk about getting zapped. Go and look at people that have been hit with extremely strong electromagnetic fields, or even in some cases, decent dosages of radiation at that point. I don't think that happens as often, but I think it happens. You look at some of the stuff that John Keel talked about, how about people felt like they were burned on the inside from some of these encounters.
Oh, and they're
with, peeing black, almost as if they had been microwaved on the inside.
Yeah,
at this point. So
that was disturbing. He was discussing that during his Art Bell interview, wasn't he?
Yeah, and so what'll happen is that it might be infrasound. It might just be some sort of vibration. It might be some sort of electromagnetism. The thing is that everybody has been talking about it for decades, and nobody has really. Ghost hunters have done a better job than Bigfoot hunters at looking at the weird stuff.
Bigfoot hunters hang their hat on this
infrasound thing, and it's just not. And guess what? I'm not saying it's not right, but I'm just saying from people that are so involved with it's just an ape. Oh, it's bad science, dude. Don't come at me with bad science when you're I at least know how the natural world works, but guess what? There's some unnatural stuff out there too. You got to be open to, man. So
back off of me.
I'm not crazy. You're crazy.
Where Sasquatch Rome says, infrasound is so last year. It's all about
But the
portals,
portals now, man. So get in on
with
it.
Stop trying to make infrasound happen.
Stitch Witch, what's up? So if a Bigfoot Dogman happens to venture your way, you know if they put out a mind control wave, not with our foil land hats.
Didn't know about that, did you?
Yeah, so Marcus Aurelius, he just ordered 2 Klipsch, I don't know how you pronounce that, high-end subwoofers that produce 14.5 hertz at 500 watts continuous.
Jesus.
Please let me know. God, I wish you lived close to us. And you can also look at, I mean, you can look at where Mythbusters, where they were looking for the brown note, that infrasonic note that makes you poo yourself. Okay.
Mm-hmm. They were talking about the brown note earlier.
And they couldn't replicate it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh, somebody asked, I believe it was our one and only Lady Wolf. Where'd she be? Did I lose it?
What's going on?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Dead and Yarn Hunt. Can donkeys do infrasound?
Wouldn't that be the crazy part? It's just infrasonic donkeys.
The hard questions.
It was infrasonic donkeys.
The hard questions are answered here. Thank you for that $4.99.
Earn that thrust. Never give.
I thought I was laughing earlier. I couldn't handle that.
Well,
you know, Lady Wolf asked, I don't know where she's at.
Lady Wolf, re-ask whatever you asked.
No. She was asking for a knife check, and I don't. There it is.
Oh, knife check.
Aha, I've done this now. Knife check, please. Lady Wolf, this is probably the 3rd time she's asked for it. We're doing my best.
Doing our best.
Mr. Doyle.
We're carrying like old school. Well, not old school. I'm carrying like a buck 110, but I'm carrying like the new version of it with like the nickel bolsters, and it's like S30V steel, I think. I got a thumb stud on it, but just a good old buck 110, the updated modern version of it. So
I have a very, very old buck 112 here. It was actually my grandfather's buck 112, and you see that the blade looks a little short. That's because it had been sharpened so many times it was overly sharpened, and so now it's a goofy little super short blade in that thing. So, but Joe kind of fixed it up for me and made it nice and functional again and pretty. But that is my buck 112. So classic bucks today.
Scary Stardust just started watching your channel. We're hooked. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Scary Stardust.
Got a lot of new people this year. So,
welcome to the.
I'm just going to put this up, and I'm not even really going to be able to answer it. How many cameras do you think are in the LBL, and whose are they? I don't know who they belong to. The LBL is technically under the control of the Department of Agriculture, and then through the Forestry Service through the Department of Agriculture. We had heard about that there were cameras there. We'd heard about that for a while. And I don't think you've released this footage yet, but if you go there with the right equipment, you can see that there is a very strong possibility that there's wireless cameras in not everywhere, but the areas where weird stuff seems to happen at. There's some weird electromagnetic stuff going on, and there's some other stuff that just looks like standard wireless surveillance cameras going on. But who's doing it? I don't know.
Overland One says infrasound is caused by swamp gas.
I do realize that if we ever do a live stream from anywhere at all and anything happens, the chat is immediately just going to start going swamp gas. It's swamp gas. So our buddy Steven Titchnell. Steven, have you ever heard a loud roar while doing an investigation? Yes, we have.
We heard one on this latest outing we had that I should be releasing Sunday at noon.
We've got a review. We got some weird thermal.
And I got some weird thermal, yeah.
We don't know what it is. We haven't debunked it yet. I don't know what it is. We got something weird on the top. So
that's going to come out Sunday at noon. We're going to stick with Sunday at noon releases. It seems like you guys really like those Sunday noon releases after church. You can just come to Hellbent Holler. So
thank you, Reverend. I gotta get home.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to release that. We've got an interesting thermal hit, and then we heard some really weird like roaring sounds. I was reviewing some of the footage, and the freaking bugs are so loud. You guys are going to go crazy with how freaking loud these bugs are. So we're going to see if we can get it to where you guys can actually hear what we hear in the distance. But it is so polluted by bug sounds. It's crazy.
Thank you, Ray. With helicopters, first off, thank you for that $9.99, sir. Thank you very much. So with helicopters, 2 out-of-state law enforcement vehicles, and the LBL most likely being government funded to destroy infrastructure, tells me they're actively involved in covering up what's happening at the LBL. I would say that if I was a betting man, I would bet that there's a lot of different theories about the LBL. One of the beautiful things about our little network of friends is not all of us agree with each other, and that's good, because that means that all the bases get covered. I don't think they know exactly what's going on or how to stop it, and they're just trying to keep it hidden as best they can. And sometimes it's clumsy because they need to react quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. Like the Peruvian illegal miners who have bulletproof 9-foot tall alien costumes and hoverboards. That was a very clumsy cover story that got generated up real quick. And I think the same thing happens at the LBL sometimes. I think that some of these cover stories are sometimes just, they're clumsy and people believe them because the alternative to them is just so impossible that what else could it be? It has to be illegal miners and with state-of-the-art hoverboards and bulletproof costumes, because it can't be aliens, can it? Yeah, it can be. So
I'm gonna hit a couple of these. This is about the knives. I think I told you last week that I have all of my dad's old buck knives from the 60s and 70s. That's a cool collection. Love those old bucks. Those are really cool. William Kennedy says most ex-wives have infrasound.
William Kennedy bringing in the ex-wife talk. What's up, William?
Paul Puglia says, I'm a couple days new. Is there any plans on a Halloween adventure?
We are going to try to do a Devil's Night investigation.
Yeah, we're going to try to do a Devil's Night investigation.
We were going to try to do it live, but I got to be honest with you, just the BS that happens every time we try to live stream from other, let's just be honest, other YouTube channels is makes it difficult. So what we might do is we might do a Devil's Night investigation and then put it up as a premiere on Halloween night or something like that. We're going to do something for Halloween. I just don't know what we're going to do yet because here's the other thing too is that we spend a lot of time in the woods, and then we spend a lot of time preparing to go into the woods, and then we spend a lot of time recovering from going into the woods, doing data dumps, going through footage and all that. We don't have a lot of time on our hands to get into YouTube vendettas. So we're kind of fighting with one hand behind our back with a lot of that stuff. So it's just, but we're figuring something out. We're going to get something. So
Barton Inley has a good point here. Infrasound is a weak attempt at transposing the physical attributes of natural animals onto these unnatural inhumanoid entities.
Just like the self-illuminating.
You can put a bow on that.
Yeah.
On that comment right there.
Yes. And it, as usual, Barton takes our scattered all over the place comments and then just turns them into poetry, But it's like these self-illuminating eyes. People will be like, well, there's bioluminescence. Yeah, there's bioluminescence in insects and like fish, It doesn't really happen in mammals. There are some mammals that glow under UV light. But at the same token, what evolutionary reason would you have for your light-gathering sense organ to also be emitting light? That just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense at all for it. So guess what? It happens, but there's just no logical reason for it. Just like for infrasound. I think that was somebody grasping at straws. So
Enzo Cyril says, I envisioned you doing a parody investigation for Halloween, scoping out your neighbors to see who's handing out the full-size candy bars.
You planted that seed. It might happen. So
I know that I think the weekend of Halloween, the Saturday, we're going to actually hand out candy for the first time.
Probably, yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
This is our first Halloween in our new house, and we are going to be handing out some full-size candy bars, kids. So we will be those neighbors.
Infrasound is not used by predators. Infrasound is used by animals that generate infrasound. Elephants generate them. Whales generate it. Tigers generate it, but tigers don't use it to stun prey. They use it to communicate and to mark territory.
Yeah.
They use it to let another tiger know because they have pretty solitary hunting grounds that there's another tiger here to stay away at that point. So, all right. Today's fun. I just want Joe to build a backwards particle beam collider.
I haven't seen Manu in here for a while. Hey, Manu. Hellbent holler bush beats. Yeah, I haven't seen Manu in a couple.
Jerry Foster's right. There are some people that are more susceptible to EMF. It's called EMF sensitivity. The infrasound that does occur with like wind farms and with like machinery and all that, some people are more susceptible than others to it. And you might be working in a closed space and your partner might be affected by it and you're not. There's a thing called sick building syndrome that people would be in an area and infrasound would get generated in and just the acoustics of the building would amplify it. Some of them would get headaches, maybe a little nauseous, have a kind of a weird feeling. That's infrasound.
Yeah.
Not the really extreme stuff that people like report there.
Manu again here. What about investigating the LBL by boat? Joe and I were discussing this the other day. We're talking about deploying the Hellbent Navy and doing getting some kayaks. And when we go up to the LBL and getting some kayaks and kind of kayaking around and getting a different perspective of the peninsula.
Somebody had contacted us once upon a time and was going to take us out and let us use a boat, and then just nothing ever came of it. So
I don't know if we get like a John boat. We could probably rent a John boat or just do the kayak thing. Yeah. We'll have GoPros. So.
Susan Grissman, there's an infrasound note that can make you that. Yes, invariably it's between it's like 5.5 and 9 hertz that usually people talk about in that area. If you give it enough oomph. Tennessee Outlaw. Brown note is a very familiar sound. It's the sound of a Mossberg 500 being pumped. Yes.
Enzo Krill said, I thought you'd launch the Hellbent barge. God, I wish. Oh,
that'd be awesome.
A girl can dream. That's how I know I've made it. When
I'm lounging around on the barge, man.
There with my barge.
You got the helicopter lander over there, landing pad. So
that would be the dream.
That would be pretty bad.
That would be the dream. Fur coats and barges. A girl can dream.
A girl can dream. So
they're talking about going to concerts. We're going to go see Ghosts tomorrow. I'm excited about that.
Night. So Dewey and Kyle, we will not be there for your show. We will catch it when we
will catch it after because I'm going to get to see Ghost. So I've been planning this outfit for a long time. It's very important that I go. Jimmy was asking, do you think the Patterson-Gimlin film is the best video evidence of Sasquatch? If it's real, yes, right? But this, I kind of go back and forth. Is it real? Is it not real?
Our friend Matt, that has a little thing called Central Florida Bigfoot, has actually got a hold of the camera. Same model, not the exact same camera, but the same model camera that was used to film the Patterson-Gimlin film. He's a professional photojournalist. Okay. So he's not a couple of rubes with like GoPros like we are running around the woods. He knows what he's doing. He's a professional photojournalist. Once he got the camera and started filming with it, he has some questions on the Patterson-Gimlin film. From somebody who thinks a lot of weird stuff is real. Okay. And I'm out there with a lot of stuff. We kind of tone it down for these Monday nights, but you get a few drinks with me one night. I'll lay it all out. Here's my question that I want you to think of. Think of all of the Sasquatch reports that you hear or the accounts that you hear on podcasts, YouTube things, you read them in books, all of this. Do most of them sound like what you saw in the Patterson-Gimlin film? It's kind of sloppy looking, didn't move particularly fast, wasn't that particularly graceful. It just kind of ambled on off, You had a camera, a huge camera, like decades old technology, it just ambled on off. So that's what's weird is that it doesn't behave like most of the reports, describe these things behaving. And that was very out of the ordinary behavior. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not as sold on it as a lot of people are. So
you're gonna slap me. Daniel Calabrese says, "Do you use protection?" I was going to say we're married, but
it goes in with that thrust. You got to earn those thrusts, man. So, John Buckles is a new subscriber. Thank you, John. Got a lot of new people here tonight. So, you guys hang out. There's a lot of in jokes. By about the second episode, you'll get them.
Yeah,
you'll get them down. All right.
I'll let you want to go.
We'll go for a little bit longer, but he's having a ball. We'll go. It seems like everybody's holding up steam.
Yeah. Marcus Aurelius asked, "Did you guys have a seminal moment on the validity of the existence?"
We have talked about this before. You want me to go with it? Or you
go? I actually need to
go.
to
You
the
go.
bathroom.
So I'll roll with this.
Roll with it.
We thought the whole idea. Hey, check the front porch while you're out there as well. We got an Amazon package delivered. I broke my buckle for my backpack when we were coming back in. I slammed it in the car door, so I got to replace my buckle tonight. Twice. And I started off as a flesh and blood Bigfoot researcher, and who didn't really have a lot of luck. I had a sighting of something when I was a kid that I can't. If you put a gun to my head right now, I can't swear that it wasn't a dream or that somebody was hoaxing me. But that kind of planted the seed in me a little bit. But at the same token, I try to approach stuff in kind of a rational manner. I kind of try to approach stuff in like a logical manner. I wasn't really into the paranormal. I wasn't really into UFOs. I wasn't really into a lot of weird stuff. But because I had this sighting of something when I was a kid, I was open to the idea of like Sasquatch and Bigfoot. So that was it for me, man. You know, Jessi was into the paranormal and all that. And I just had no knowledge of it, no thought of it, no interest in it. I didn't really know anything about it at all. Quite honestly, a lot of it just seemed kind of silly, okay? Because what happens is with a lot of this weird phenomenon, it becomes known by its most extreme public facings, okay? So the UFO topic is not really defined by really plausible, instances that actually have some trace evidence left. It's defined by those, nothing wrong with hillbillies. We're from the hills, but those toothless hillbillies going, oh, it grabbed me in my corn patch and it did this and this. And Bigfoot, even Bigfoot was defined by stupid, like National Enquirer, like article stories and all that. So we had some weird experiences, and I started to kind of like realize that the world was a lot weirder than it was, that I originally thought it was. We both thought that Dogman was still really silly. Okay. And we started getting reports from north of us in North Carolina, and they followed a little stretch from Blowing Rock, North Carolina down. And we started meeting with people who had those encounters. And I'm going, these people ain't crazy. And it's just weird how these people are all reporting the same thing. So we decided on a summer we were going to go and we were going to have a Dogman summer. And it was still a joke at that point. We were cracking jokes driving into the LBL. And when we got to the LBL, we were still cracking jokes until I saw that thing on thermal. And Jessi was cracking jokes until she saw the blown up images of that on thermal on a laptop screen. And then we were just like, holy crap, this matches up with what people are seeing out here. Okay. For that moment, that's when I remember sitting there just going, it was like a reality shattering moment for me, where all of a sudden I just went, well, if this is real, sky's the limit, man. You know what I'm saying? So that was our moment, that LBL moment. So all right.
Tater King, thank you for that $9.99.
Tater
sir.
King.
King of the taters.
King of the taters.
Not the
spending a little tater largesse here this evening. For my subjects.
Not the Duke of the taters, but the king himself. Speaking of Halloween, have y'all ever been to Mad World? Considering you guys live in the upstate.
Thank you for that $9.99 first off. And now, have you ever been to Mad World, Jessi?
No, I have not.
Really?
No.
Which one did you work at?
I did not work at Mad World. We've been over this every year that Mad World opens on the interstate.
I wasn't paying attention to you then. I'm not paying attention to you now, so it's fine.
I worked at a haunted house when I was a teenager. It was not Mad World. Joe thinks it was Mad World every year, and every year I tell him I did not work at Mad World because it wasn't around when I was a teenager. I worked at another one elsewhere. So not all haunted houses are the Mad World off the interstate.
We have not been to the Mad World.
And no, the answer to your question is no, we have not.
Maybe we'll go this year though, because they're open in a couple days. So
God, they open so early. Dewey Edwards, the Dooster himself, says, "Is it possible for two people standing close to each other, one be paralyzed from the infrasound, the other have no effects from it?"
It's possible for two people to be standing next to each other and both get hit with infrasound, because infrasound, the lower the frequency, the more stuff it travels through. And there's a formula for figuring out the wavelength through how much solid stone or solid material that'll penetrate through. I don't remember it off the top of my head. It's in my notes. But it's possible for two people one to be affected by it and the other one not to be affected by it. But the effects are going to be slight headache, maybe a little irascible, just kind of like I just feel kind of crappy. Nobody's ever been paralyzed by infrasound. Nobody has ever been paralyzed by biological or mechanical infrasound. You would need something that was much more, that had caused different physical effects that could be more tightly focused. If you know who John Alexander is, Colonel John Alexander, he's a creepy guy from Skinwalker Ranch. Jessi found an old interview. Was he on Art Bell? And he was talking about trying to use infrasound as a weapon, and that they couldn't. It's too.
He said it was useless.
Useless. You couldn't really control the direction it traveled into. It would affect people differently. And he was going, if we shoot a bullet at somebody, we want that bullet to kill anybody it hits, not just some people. So you
can rely on a bullet.
It's very possible, and I don't want to go into all the stuff, but there's your size of your skeleton, your physical makeup, how much do you weigh, everything like that goes into the effect of how you were affected and somebody else is not affected by it. But nobody being paralyzed by it. There's nobody that's ever been paralyzed by infrasound. So that we know of. But here's the deal. If we start catching really super high levels of infrasound out somewhere where it ain't supposed to be, then we're back to the drawing board on that. And then I'm going to have to go, something is using infrasound, but it ain't natural. It's unnatural. It's occurring, the infrasound, it's behaving in ways that infrasound is not supposed to behave. So it's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Enzo Krill says, "What snacks do you take on your bushwhacking adventures?"
Some practical stuff. So
I eat nothing but trucker snacks generally. I am
that is true.
I have really disgusting selections.
Let's give you a slice of life thing. If we're ever out and we're with Martin Groves, at some point Martin Groves is going to give Jessi.
He's going to produce out of nowhere
Vienna sausages and give them to Jessi, and then that's just made Jessi's day at that point.
Yeah, so. I love Vienna sausages. I like pickled sausages, like the Big Mamas or the Tijuana Mamas. Those are good. I like boiled peanuts a lot. Yeah, I like trucker snacks. So that's my big. Let's see. Arcane Discoveries says,
"Why, thank you.
Here is some more support from us here in East Tennessee. By the way, Joe, Mr. Groves got the photos. Also, have y'all shipped the stickers yet?
You shipped
LOL.
those stickers, didn't you?
I don't think I did.
I thought you shipped them.
I don't know. I don't think I did. I went to the post office and I didn't ship stickers.
You didn't ship. She has not shipped her stickers. He's taking that $9.99 back now. You know what I'm saying? You don't deserve it.
I'll send those out tomorrow.
We will send those out tomorrow. Thank you for that, by the way.
Thank you. Yes. Sorry about that. I have failed. Stop clicking on stuff. I have shamed my family.
All right. Those will go out tomorrow.
Those will go out tomorrow. Let me put this on my show notes. Stickers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ooh, Jonestead Farm says, my hubby got the barbecue Vienna sausage cans tonight for his lunches throughout the week. See? People with class and taste around here.
Discerning bunch. We got the tater
Good night, Paul M. Good night. Not today, Saban.
We're wrapping it up here in a few minutes.
I'm starving.
Actually, we usually go 2 hours, right? We got a few more minutes left.
Yeah, we can do last call shortly because then that'll give them a couple of minutes to do it. Yep.
And Jimmy goes that he saw an original of the Patterson. Well, you saw the original because the original's lost. If you've seen the original, you can see it doesn't look like a suit, but I have other. I wish I could be 100% sold on it, but something's tickling in the back of my mind on it. Something is tippling on the back of my mind. Rare Robert, do you believe that these cryptids could be Nephilim? we don't really, I don't rule out that possibility. If you read, we were talking about Scott Carpenter earlier, the book that he did concerning the DNA test, the Melba Ketchum DNA test. And I know that people have extremely strong feelings about that. It's already probably started up in the chat, but his book talked about how some of that DNA evidence, some of that DNA had origins in areas in the Middle East where the Nephilim were supposedly ensconced at. So I can't say that I don't dismiss it.
Yeah.
So
Ghetto Yeti is asking email or Insta. I don't know what you're asking about.
I'd asked him to email me something earlier.
Email.
Hellbentholler@gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
Coming
Yes, sir.
along the bottom. So
thank you, sir.
I can't believe you didn't send Arcane stickers.
Hiker Biker Klutz says Patreon. We do not have a Patreon.
We got a PayPal, but we're always hesitant to give it out. I mean, we don't want, if you want to support us, we'll take it, but just please don't ever set yourself short. Is that fair to say?
Right. When it comes to the Patreon, I'm not going to have a Patreon. There is talks that we will eventually do an app.
Yeah.
That's down the road a bit, but there would be like a app.
There's stuff we want to share with people.
And we want to do live investigations and in order for these live investigations on site, we want you to have some skin in the game to view these. That way that these chodes who watch our live investigations and then dox us or threaten to call the police on us, they won't be able to just go and watch these. So you have to have a little skin in the game to watch our live investigations. So that would include that we're going to have that. We'll have bonus footage. We'll have bonus episodes, bonus material, and all that would be for subscribers only. That's something I'm kind of working on, but is nowhere near ready to launch. But that is something we are discussing.
We do have a PayPal link, and we do share that with people when they ask, with the caveat that we were watching a live stream one night and somebody was donating money to the person doing the live stream, and they made the comment about, like, I'll have $20 left to the end of the month. And it wasn't near the end of the month, man. And we were both going, give that dude his money back, man. Good Lord, I mean, don't. So I'm always hesitant because I know people get really excited about this and people want to support it, and that's great.
For example, you have someone like Homeless Ryan who gives us $4.99, but Homeless Ryan is no longer homeless.
We're not taking money from the homeless. We've got to put that caveat. We are not taking money from the homeless.
He is home to Ryan.
He is home to Ryan now, and we are not taking money from homeless people.
He's purely homed.
Thank you for that, Ryan. But I mean, if people want to support what we do, we don't sit around and like just, have like witness encounters and stuff like that. The stuff we do is expensive.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at just crap right now around our podcasting room. It's expensive. And people will go, oh, you guys are getting rich off YouTube. If we ever made enough to recoup enough money just for our thermal imagers, I'd be ecstatic. That'd be like awesome. That'd be like Christmas. So if people want to support it, that's cool. I just don't ever want money out there like eating like cat food for the rest of the month, man, because they gave help. I know, right? Because they gave Help and Holler money. So,
Adam Delorme says Patreon's lame. Yes, and they can cancel your account and censor you at any point in time. What I'm looking at is going to be completely uncensored. That's what I want. I don't want us and our material, our language, our what we put out. We don't want any sort of censorship on what we put out to our subscribers. So I'm looking at a censorship-free model for that.
So, because the other thing too is that we sometimes have to dance around topics here.
Yeah.
That especially involve like possible cover-ups or conspiracies.
Mm-hmm.
We would like a platform where we could just kind of speak, and again, just have people that are like that are in the game with us with this to kind of like have these discussions with. And that's just the only way to do it.
Hector,
I mean, but at the same token, the regular stuff ain't going away.
No, regular stuff's not going away.
We just need to figure
Hector
out.
Jimenez says, I think the original is fake because there is no butt crack.
There's no butt crack.
Crack gate right there.
And you know what? But at the same token, the stabilized stuff. Now, the stuff that's coming out that's been AI has had a part in. AI is putting in information there that just isn't there. You know what I'm saying? So you're not seeing a touched up film. You're seeing basically a film that has had other layers put upon it that may or may not have been there in the original one. And again, I ain't saying that I don't think it's fake. I'm just saying that I have questions. I have questions about it. So questions. So
Arcane Discoveries $4.99. Thank you. LOL. Here's more to cover the shipping fees. Thank you guys so much. I just want to make sure so I can look out for them in the mail. Yeah, I'll get them out. I will get them out because I do have to go check my PO box because Sugi is threatening me if I don't check my PO box before we go on an excursion.
Daniel is saying that not everybody would. Yeah, exactly. We don't expect everybody to do that. We'll still do the regular stuff that we do. There's just other stuff that we want to do that we have tried to do publicly, and it is obviously not worked. And we are trying to figure out a way to kind of get around that. And guess what? If people decide not to do it, more power to you, man. You know, so.
Dead in yard hunt, cat food funding. Oh God.
Oh Lord. Bronwyn is in. Nothing profound to add to the chat. Just wanted to say hi and that I love and appreciate you guys. Thank you, Bronwyn.
Sometimes that's enough.
You always leave very nice comments on our videos. We always appreciate your input.
Hector Jimenez says, are you guys going to attend Josh Turner's conference?
We are not. Josh Turner was kind enough to invite us to come. It's just that we could not break away from work in time to do it. The day of the conference itself probably wouldn't be that bad, but we are 16 hours away by car, and then even to fly, we just couldn't get off in time for it.
Yeah.
Maybe next year. It's got a great lineup. It's going to be a who's who, and was just something that couldn't happen at this year. I mean, we both work. Again, we were talking about the donation aspect of it. We both work full time to fund this stuff. So that means that we're not dependent upon YouTube to pay our bills or to eat, you know. Anything we get off YouTube just goes back into equipment and travel and all that. Like, we ain't getting rich off it. But at the same token, I think that helps us with our integrity with people. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same,
much integrity.
Yeah, much integrity, big integrity. But but at the same token, though, that also means that we have constraints in our times that sometimes we can't get away from. So
we are going full tilt all the time. Graybeard says no super chat, but I did hit the thumbs up. That's all we ask.
Hey,
hit that thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up.
And make sure you share the channel, share the videos that we put out. That's get it in front of more people. That helps us more than you know. The more people we have checking our stuff out.
Lady Wolf, sit in the sack. I told her she was nosy like you are earlier. She had said something, and I was just like, God, you're exactly like Jessi, nosiest people I know. She's like, how do you know that I'm nosy? And I'm going, anybody who interacts with you more than 5 minutes, Lady Wolf, knows that you are going
Good night, nosy Lady Wolf.
So,
she's taking her cat food and going to bed.
Bigfoot Society's in here. Our boy Jeremiah just went on a field investigation for Bigfoot.
Congratulations, Jeremiah.
So he's out there getting dirty,
getting dirty
with it. So Hector Jimenez says this is the most I've ever seen a podcast respond to their chat. We try to, between Jessi and I, answer every comment that is left on one of our videos. We try to do our best doing this with the chat. The whole Monday night thing is interactive. We don't come with prepared topics. We don't come here with just the chat dictates where we go to. I wish we could answer everything, but unfortunately it's grown to the point where we cannot do it.
He also says, thank you for properly pronouncing his last name.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Wild Captures, $4.99 for a gallon of gas. Thank you.
We had to drive through Charlotte to come back home from the Uwharrie, and we needed gas. And I was like, do not fill it up here. I was like, just get us enough to get us back into South Carolina where it's cheaper. Oh my God.
And here's the deal is that, again, I can't stress this enough. Anybody that shares anything like that, you ain't ever going to see us in here going like bemoaning the world and that we need money. Okay.
No.
If the channel stops tomorrow, we're going to keep doing what we do. And, you know, like I said, you guys have seen the equipment that we use. YouTube ain't paying for that. We are sacrificing, and we don't really take vacations. Like, we don't go to the beach. I mean, we go to like.
Well, we're not allowed at the beach because we are so pale. We would probably die. So
all those nights in the woods doesn't prepare you for the sun. But that's what we do. We drive old Blazers and an old Subaru. We don't really, and we sacrifice a lot of stuff in our lives to do this. And we're going to do it whether we're doing it on YouTube or just doing it, a couple of weirdos doing it and then talking about each other to it. So.
Yep, Julie Bug. This is for those who can't do money. You can show your support by hitting the like, watching videos, and share some more. Thank you so much. That is the truth. The truth.
And Christopher Lineberry. I think how I found your channel is by people giving thumbs up. See? Marcus Aurelius giving you $4.99 to. Well, guess what? We're doing. What are you doing tonight?
I'm doing beef tips and brown rice and vegetables.
Life ain't too bad, folks. Life ain't too bad for a hardworking guy named Joe. So,
William Kennedy says Bigfoot is real, life is fake.
Life is fake indeed. So, all right. I can't believe we're caught up in chat.
Thank you, Patricia Gambino Harrington, for smacking that like button. We're gonna do last call.
This was brought up earlier, and I don't think Susan Christman said we need to do a 1-year retrospective. We could do that on the 1-year anniversary. You guys could come and tell us.
Did you just have a stroke?
I just had a
Joe just had a stroke on air.
I know. I was going through. Remember in Terminator when Terminator's sitting in the hotel room digging in his hand, and the landlord's like, "What do you got in there? A dead cat?" And he has like all the possible responses going through his head. I just had one of those moments because I got ready to say something like really just going, you guys can come and tell us your favorite Joe and Jessi moments and how amazing we are. And then I went, that sounds a little too heavy-handed even for me. And then I just froze at that point. So, yeah.
You were just shocked by your own.
I was shocked by my own BS level of BS that I did. So, so you were in for sounded. Yeah, by my own BS. So.
Arcade Discoveries thought his computer froze because you just like stroked out.
I know, but because everybody always gives me crap because I say things like, I did this, I'm doing a really good job. That even stretched beyond that. And then I just went, maybe I don't want to say this. People are going to take it out of context.
Oh my goodness.
Hector says that he was shadow banned from commenting for critiquing a podcast. We have to block people on a daily basis, but usually it's people that are extremely crude, insulting, or whatever. But if somebody look at the thing in the tree video we did, there's a constant argument going on about people going, that's a leaf, that's something swinging from the trees. We didn't go in and ban every single person that when it was a leaf because we don't know what the hell it is.
I'm not here to ban you leafers.
Yeah, you leafers.
Although I've considered it.
But we don't know what it is. We didn't even think it was anything until people started discussing it, so we put it up.
Yeah.
And people, as long as they're respectful, people can ask us questions. I mean, but we do get some weird death threats.
Wildcap just said you had a Biden moment.
Oh, good Lord. So anyway, Marcus Aurelius is waiting for that Hellbent Holler special. So
after school special.
Simply Mark has got a question. Are you guys seeing an uptick on people reporting encounters with Bigfoot, Dogman, etc.? That is something that's a constant topic of debate. And some people are like, the activity is the same it's always been. It's just easier to share that information now.
Which is a possibility. It might be a little out of column A, a little out of column B, whether it's actually ramping up or if there's just more of an outlet to really disclose your encounter.
Talk to some of the people that have been doing this for a while and people that have been public. Talk to Barton Nunley. Okay. Talk to Barton Nunley. And ask him if he thinks that activity is increasing. And if he's still in chat, he can answer that for himself. But
yeah,
I won't speak for Barton, but I'll tell you that a lot of those people say that, yes, it seems like it's accelerating. It seems like it's we keep saying the veil is thinning, and that's the way it seems to us. So Graham has asked, have you guys ever tried the fake camp setup? We haven't, and here's why, because we've never had luck with trail cams and stuff like that. And I don't know if whatever we're looking for would be fooled by us hanging out 20 feet away in the bushes.
And also, how do you know whatever this is doesn't watch us set up the camp and then go hide in the bush?
Yeah, so I don't know. But you know what? More and more people have asked that.
Yeah.
And here's my thing is that we've not done it because of preconceived notions. And then yet we're always ramping on going on about how you shouldn't have preconceived notions.
That's
so
true.
We'll probably do a fake camp.
That's a good idea.
Because I've allowed our
I
preconceived
agree.
notions on it to kind of preclude us from doing it. So
I
we'll
agree.
do it.
You're right. You're right.
I might even do a backwards facing camera and then just put the raw footage up for people to see and just go, well, then people will go, well, this is damn near useless, Joe. So, all right. So,
We'll call
good
it
Lord, Hector.
Joe's
A
rare.
lot of theory that I've heard and believed to be true is that a lot of infield researchers get sick and die early in life. Do you think there's any truth on
Well,
that?
God, I hope not.
I hope
Hector.
not.
Jesus, Hector.
Hector, you should have told us that a couple of years ago. I don't know. I know that there has been people who have suffered health effects from stuff that they've encountered. I don't think that's happened to us as of. I mean, we haven't had any help.
We have tried to keep ourselves pretty healthy.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a commonality between a lot of Bigfoot researchers that they're unhealthy people in general.
Yeah, and it's just that, you know, a lot of Bigfoot researchers don't get a lot of physical activity.
Yeah. So that might contribute
contribute to some of it. But I mean, at the same token, I mean, we're here. We ain't planning on going nowhere. Tennessee
But
Outlaw.
I hope not.
I'm going to talk to Sean and see if I can get you on the Sean Ryan show. I'm serious. We've been listening to Sean Ryan show a little bit lately. It's
we have.
Pretty raw. It's pretty good. We listened to the Skinwalker.
It is good.
The Brandon Fugel from Skinwalker Ranch. I listened to that the other night. It was really good. Fugel. All right. Yeah, Marcus Aurelius got a good thing. YouTube bots ban people. People get unsubscribed from our channel, and then they'll be like, "You guys unsubscribed us," and I'm going, "I do not have that ability to do that." Sometimes people will go, "Why did my comment disappear?" And I'll go, "I don't know. I don't."
Marcus Aurelius has a good point here. 10 millimeter is a good health insurance policy.
It's a very good health insurance policy.
You are correct.
10 millimeter with some special ammunition. So, there you go. Crowdsource your back cam. You know what? Here's the deal. All right, fine. I've been beaten into submission. We will do a back cam on our next outing. Okay.
Butt cams by Joe.
When we get done with this tonight, while you're making dinner, I'm going to pull out some parts and I'm going to rig up an external battery source and we're going to run a back cam on it. Just run it. Okay.
Okay.
There we go. Fine.
Chuck and Gonzalez start a Dogman workout video. There was this is funny. I've talked about this before, but some of you guys have probably not heard this. There was a production company that got in touch with me about doing a couple different projects. One of the projects that they pitched to me was I would be working out and telling Bigfoot stories.
Do you guys remember Showtime when it had the aerobicize thing on? It was basically just like softcore, like porn. You know, that's all it was. Mm-hmm. That was a big thing back in the day. That's basically what they wanted you to do, be in like spandex and just be bouncing around talking about
spandex,
bouncing around
telling Bigfoot stories.
So,
Matt's Tube of You, thank you for that $10, sir. This one's for the coffee fund. Expensive, effective equipment is great, but coffee, that's important. I have to agree with you on that.
I don't drink coffee.
I definitely. Joe is a monster. Joe drinks freaking monsters, and I drink coffee. So, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You need to run into that cocaine dog man out there sometime. Get the real book.
Get that cocaine dog man.
Cocaine dog man kind of dropped out of the
vernacular. Yeah.
So,
where did I lose this? There it is. Johnstead Farm says I'm going to be doing a back cam on our next investigation.
We've tried it. It's just we tried it temporarily, but where we're usually at, especially in North Georgia, we're busting through the brush. We're on game trails. We're not on like regular hiking trails. It might work to a degree on some of the old logging roads that we're on, but even then, we're trying to keep an eye all around. We're not just hiking. We're constantly doing this, which means that camera's going to be swinging constantly. Mm-hmm. And I'll give it a try. See what I come up with. So.
All right, well, I'm going to do last call. It's last call, everybody. We're going to close out the show. It has been a
hoot and a holler.
A hoot and a holler, a hellacious Monday evening. If you guys have anything important to throw in there, throw it in there, and then we will
address it.
Jerry Faust has the idea. Do a butt cam, Joe.
Jerry,
just be real dark.
My man. It's real dark.
Real dark. There'll just be condensation on the lens. Mm-hmm. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, we've got I'm looking at some different barrels for it. We're using the stock barrel right now, but you are right. They will blow the back out the brass ammo. Ray, Joe's big monster fund.
Joe, right. That's the monsters Joe's hunting.
That's the monsters I'm hunting.
Those great monsters. Yeah.
Don't get a lot of sleep, y'all. It's a full-time. We got 2 full-time jobs here. Don't get a lot of rest. So, All right, guys. Thank you all.
Yeah.
So much.
This was an awesome show. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you, Martin Groves. Makes Monday great again. Always a hoot and a holler. Thank you, Martin. My good boy. My good friend, Martin Groves.
Garlic to keep the chupacabra flies away. Oh, that's awesome.
Jesus.
Thank you, Rick does Shotokan. So
I just love everybody's like usernames.
It's just the best. We have like literally the best. And we'll say this before we wrap it up. When she said, "Hey, we need to do a live stream on like Monday nights," I went, "That is the absolute worst idea I've ever heard." I fought you tooth and nail on this, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I was just going, I do not want to do that. What the hell are we going to talk about?
That long year ago.
And we ended up doing it. And now it is the highlight of our week.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. We really put together quite a crew of
For stuff
people
like
here.
this. Hope it's not too weird, but love you guys.
Love you too.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the highlight of our week, man.
It
We
really
appreciate
is.
everybody
It
coming
really
in and
is.
hanging out and all of the talk and
All the insight, all the good ideas.
Mhm.
I have every week I always have like a page of notes of stuff I need to do and look into. And yeah, so this is always a really constructive time for us. It's really good for us to do this. We really appreciate you guys being a part of the Hellbenders. But we have the coolest viewers, we have the coolest people that interact with our channel, and we just want to say thank you for everything, and everybody that throws cash at the channel for equipment and all of that stuff. We really appreciate that too. You guys are just the best. Just
Cryptid Castleberry, safe travels. Everybody going to the Dogman conference. Hope you guys all enjoy it. Drop our names constantly. So
Creamy Wet Farts is in chat one.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. All right. Anyway, Arcane Discoveries. Thank you, buddy. We'll get those stickers out tomorrow.
Yes.
And I think we're catching up here. I think we need to go out on Creamy Wet Fart. Seems to be our swan song. That needs to be done.
A creamy wet fart to you, sir. And to you.
And to you.
That'll be our greeting. All right, guys. We appreciate you guys so much. And I'm gonna go make dinner. Joe's gonna work on a back-facing camera rig,
back-facing camera rig. So.
And yeah, that's what we're up to.
Rapmaster, there's another Dogman conference in Texas.
Yes.
And if you go to either Martin Grove's or Barton Nunley's Facebook pages, they have the flyer posted quite a bit. They will probably be posting it again, but it is in Texas, put on by Paranormal Roundtable.
Yep. So if you're in the area, go check that out.
Go check them out. So.
But let's play some music, and you guys have a great week. Y'all get to it and stay safe out there. Let's pick something cool. Let's pick how about Running Against the Clock? That sounds good. Let's play that.
Later.
Bye, guys.